Yo everyone, welcome to Amps Pedals Pickups. My name is Nathan and IK ToneX has finally dropped. This is an app that I've been waiting. I can't actually think the last time that I've been hanging out for an app for this long. You know, there's just so much to do here. There's community captures, there's the IK captures, there's the captures that I'm going to be doing myself. There's no way I'm going to cram it all into this video. Plus, I definitely think this is going to be an app that's going to need some time. You're going to have to figure out some little tricks that go with it. It just feels like that kind of thing. So before we dive into the menus, let's take a look at how it sounds. So like I said, there's a few things that I like to feel as well as listen to. And I definitely think that the tails are really, really good. You know, there's a bit of hissing going on there before the gate kicks in, but there's definitely this nice organicness when it comes to the tails of that stuff. And like I said, the dynamics, and what I sort of mean is, you know, if you're just going in super light, and you start to build it up a bit more. To me, that's the sort of earmark of a good sim. So now we will talk about the interface a little bit. There's sort of a few different ways to look at things. So this, I guess, is sort of just like the pit of presets, or what do they call it? Tone models. This is the pit of tone models that you can look at. And if it's like a more whiter one, then you've got access to it. If it's grayed out, then you don't have access to it. If you're going to view things this way, I would definitely say, do this filter, just filter by things that you own. And if you're playing guitar, just filter by guitar. You can go a little bit deeper if you just want to like look at amps or whatever different combinations. You can choose those filters and sort of really drill down. But I think it's mandatory if you're doing this view, just look at the stuff that you own and filter by your instrument. That's going to save you a lot of headache. You can make it a bit more full screen. Now, if you want to audition things, you can just click on whatever you want and play it, obviously. But something cool that they've done here is they've got the preset sounds that they had in all those auditions, if you ever heard them on the ToneX website, if you ever did the demos. So they've got all the sounds here, and I like this space one. So just click that and hit play. And then I've kind of really tuned to that riff. I've heard it so many times now, and I can just scroll through the different amp models, listening to that. It just saves me a bit of time having to play the thing. And I really like this boosted and scooped one, so I'm just going to go back to that. Have a look at this little bad boy. So what's this based on? It is based on a 5153. I mean, I wonder why I like that sound, you know, I never would have guessed. That's one way you can look at amp models. You can go through the list here and just, you know, you can sort things on character, you know, amp based on, maybe there's a specific, you want to look at all the different JCM 800 models. You can go through here and do all the demoing. Now this is a good time to look at the reverb and all the sort of additional parameters up the top. So up here, you've got all the different parameters that you can change, bass, mid. You can do it pre or post the amp. That's something that we'll look at a little bit later. You've got a noise gate that you can add in. This is the amp. This is the ToneX model, I should say. So if you're profiling an amp, then it's going to go here. If you're just profiling a stomp box, it's going to go here. If you're doing a full chain, it's going to go there. So there's currently, you can see there's only one slot here for the ToneX profile. So if you wanted to have like a single stomp profile, you would have to have one instance of ToneX. Then I guess you'd have to have a second instance of ToneX if you wanted a ToneX stomp and then a ToneX amp that haven't been captured together. Say they were captured separately. That's the way you would need to do it. You can't sort of put two things under the one hood. Maybe in Amplitude 5, there might be some more ToneX slots that you can sort of bank them up. but now you can only have one thing as far as I can tell. And then this is the cab. So some things are going to be captured all baked into one. I'm not too sure if you're going to be able to split the cab out. That's something that I need to research, but we'll look later at some amp only sims, and then we'll chuck some IRs in afterwards, because that's, once again, just a super versatile way of running this app, which is very, very cool. But for now, you can see this is using the captured tone as well as the captured amp. It's combining those. That's how we're getting our tone. Then you can chuck some compression on there if you want, chuck some reverb. I find this reverb to actually be very, very nice. That's sort of why I stopped and wanted to talk about this and add it in. Been just doing the plate like 10%-ish. I mean, of course, you can go crazy with it. You can juice things up. But yeah, just something super, super handy to have at the touch of a button. I'm just going to reset everything. Up here, things are organized a little bit better in the tone model collections. So I've got a bunch of collections because I've got the second highest tier. I don't have max. So you can see I have access to all of these because they're white. But if I click on one that I don't have access to, they're grayed out. It wants me to buy them. I totally respect that. But I wish I could also filter out the collections that I don't have access to. I don't want to be clicking on things and realize that I don't have access to it. I'd rather just not be able to see it at all. Have a quick browse at some of the models. This is one that I started. I knew this was a good one, so I'm just going to turn that noise gate on. There we go. That's definitely a good sounding preset there. I've never played a Mesa Triple Crown, so it's so hard when you haven't played the real amp, and then you sort of sit here and you're trying to critique, you're trying to decipher, like, is this too digital? Is this how the real amp sounds? I haven't played the real amp. I can hear some characteristics in this tone that I feel are a little like digital sounding, but I think with some smart EQing, you can sort of knock out the fizziness. And you know, who knows? Maybe if I got my hands on a Triple Crown and I recorded everything, you know, go through the whole process of having an analog amp, recording it, doing all that sort of stuff, maybe I'd be EQing out the same stuff. So it's, unless you have the same amp and you're looking at the same capture, I think it's really hard to judge this stuff without giving it a fair chance. And that's why I was saying, like, I don't think you can play with this app for like an hour or two and sort of give your final conclusions. I think there's a lot to it. I think it's a huge ecosystem. And yeah, we're just taking a first look at it now. But let's check out some more. The Mark V. All right, so I've got access to the rectifier models here. Let's check out the 90s punk rock tone. I'm going to bookmark this one. This sounds really good. Might even chuck the compressor on for this to really squish those notes. It's got that sort of slinky rectifier sound to it. That's very like it. Yeah, we all know that one. I'll bookmark that. Sounds really cool. There's so much stuff here. There's just a tons to explore. You could do so many videos on this stuff. But the next thing that I want to look at is the actual ToneNET stuff. So this is the community-based items. So when you click on it, it's going to connect to the ToneNET servers. So on the surface, this seemingly looks the same, but if this is green up the top here, you're in ToneNET mode, which is completely different. This is the ToneNET side of things. So once again, you go to your filters, I'm going to do guitar, and it's going to take a little bit to load. And you can see here now, these are the users that have uploaded stuff. If it's IK, it's going to have this IK logo, but you can see users are already starting to upload things, which is super, super cool. And I believe I used the this Mark IV. Now, straight away, I know this is an amp captured without a cab. So it's just an amp only, which is really, really cool. And I've got loaded up here in Reaper. I've got the Kali cabs IRs. You can use whatever IRs you want. Let's juice up the gain a little bit here. I mean, there's just something about the fact that this was a community capture that it just lifts my joy that so many cool things can happen here. Let's take a look. This is somebody's Tone King Imperial that they've captured. That's just screaming for some reverb. Get some of that plate on there. That's so cool. That's such a good tone. And yeah, community capture, I'm going to keep saying it. It's so, so cool. Let's have a look at this high watt. It's got a bit more of like a stringy, acoustic-y sound. So, I'm not too worried that I didn't get the max version, because whilst, on day one or maybe the first week or two, you might think, oh, I really want access to like those angles and all those different amps that the max version brings. But you wait and see. People are going to be dropping all this sort of cool content on the community side of things. So I think even getting the cheapest version of ToneX is really going to get you access to the whole ecosystem, and it's going to get you, in the long run, you're going to have access to absolutely everything you're going to need. So there we have it. That's my introduction to IK ToneX. I think it's very, very good so far. I think it excels when it comes to clean tones, edge of breakup. I think even sort of mid to heavy gain, it sort of doesn't seem to hold up. And then high gain for me, so far, I'm not super sold yet, but that might just be a quirk with this when it comes to the tone models that are captured. Maybe the ones that I capture sound better. Maybe the community ones that other people capture will sound better. Maybe just with a bit of post EQing, things are going to scrub up a little bit nicer. You have to do that with some other sims, so maybe that's going to be the case here. But like I said, I'm fully sold with so much of this app. I'm just unfortunately not quite 100,000% sold with the thing that I really enjoy, which is high gain stuff. But I think it definitely has legs. It has sort of like the building blocks to be able to be good. So I'm definitely not writing it off yet. I just want to hear some good high gain stuff come out of this. And I think it's going to happen. But yeah, if you have any questions, comments, intricacies, maybe I've gone over something that I haven't quite understood and you know better than me, leave it in the comments below. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe. Check out ToneX, do a trial for it, check it out. If you see any cool tone models, let me know. Super interested. I'm going to be playing around with this, doing some of my own captures. And as always, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, and have a good one.